What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and today, boys, we're coming at you with an updated custom tactics video. Over the past weekend league, it was the Premier League team of the season weekend, and we were actually able to go ahead and get ourselves a 19-1 finish in the FUT Champs finals, which was absolutely huge. Of course, rank 1 means that we get rank 1 rewards, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, I think the video is live on our channel. Go check it out on the link down in the description below. I'll also put it in the card at the end of the video if you want to wait to the end there. But over the past weekend, a lot of people were asking me for my updated custom tactics, what I was running in order to go ahead and win and secure ourselves up some games. And unfortunately, I think the last time I did a custom tactics video, it was all the way back in October and November, and I really only was running the 4-4-2. So today, boys, we're going to come at you with an updated custom tactics video, kind of give you guys some thoughts and insights into how I play my game, and hopefully give you guys some tips to help you better progress yourself and get better rewards and stuff for these next few weekend leagues. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video for today. If you do find it helpful, don't forget to hit a big old thumbs up, and if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe. And I do want to start off just by saying that once again, these are the custom tactics that work for me. They may not work for you. You got to find what works for your playstyle, but of course, try them out and see if they do. If they do, then beautiful. If not, then you got to still fine tune and find some stuff that helps you out. And I'll try my best to kind of give you guys some of the minute changes I'll make in between games in order to kind of tip a tie into my favor. So I'll let you guys know that throughout the process. But anyway, so this is the team that we've been running on my main account, the Kyren Road to Glory. And this was the team that we were able to go ahead and get ourselves 19-1 with. The way I normally play it, as you would have heard from the start of the video, is in a 4-4-2, but we actually run 4 different formations depending on the situation and what I think is the most ideal thing to kind of run at that point in time. So let's go through them and hopefully give you guys some pretty insightful insights. That's a bit weird of a way to say it, but yeah. So starting offwards, we do have the 4-4-2. This is my default. I also have a 4-2-3-1. I also have a 4-3-2-1 and also a 3-5-2. And when we go through each of these formations, I'll kind of let you know which sort of situation I would use each one in. So let's start off with the 4-4-2, and this is my default formation. I think it partners up really well against other people who are playing 4-4-2s. Maybe not so well against 4-2-2s because they kind of sit a bit more inside, but definitely against the 4-2-3-1, it's a bit more of attacking formation for that sort of stuff. And basically for anyone who plays like a pretty balanced style, this is a good way to kind of counter it, and this is where I normally play. So when it comes to the tactics, I run balanced on my defensive style with 50-50. Like to keep it pretty simple. I like, personally, on a lot of my formations, direct passing and fast build-up. Basically, what it means is the team moves quite fast forward, and also they make the runs that kind of let them get in behind. So that's what that is. If you don't play that sort of style, if you play a bit more possessive, maybe go to balance, maybe go to slow build-up. I don't love slow build-up for me. Just don't think there's enough attacking runs, but maybe balance works alright for you. But yeah, I think for me personally, fast build-up works really well. And then also as well with direct passing, if you just don't make those through balls in the runs, then maybe you want to go to balanced, or maybe if you're a bit more possessive, then maybe go to possession as well. That's also something you could potentially do. But for me personally, I really like fast build-up and direct passing, and I'm pretty sure for most of my formations, I just keep that regardless of whatever situation I'm in, because I always want to kind of try and score more goals. With I keep it 50, I keep it pretty balanced, and if I need to move players in specific situations, I'll just move them manually. And then I like 7-2-2 on this situation. I don't think you need more than 2 on corners or free kicks. I feel like you're just overcommitting too much. You leave yourself open for the counter, and with the players in the box, this gives me enough players and enough options kind of going forward, because the way I play is like work it around in the box, find the open shot, hit the goal and score. You could drop it if you find like you're committing too many people forward, but for me personally, I like 7 on that, and that's how I usually play it. So yeah, that's the whole deal. Now, what I would say is if you're down in a game, what you might want to do is go to something like a press on possession loss. What this does is it presses your players up for 7 seconds, puts a lot of pressure, try to win the ball back higher up, and then once those 7 seconds are over, they kind of sit back to a normal balance. It works really well, and I feel like for me personally, I don't really have any issues with getting caught out too much in this formation, unless if someone builds up really, really fast. But usually you're not really caught out too much, especially if someone's a bit more possessive player. If they're a bit better on the ball, I would not recommend going to constant pressure, and constant pressure is usually my like last glitch, last chance sort of situation to try and win the game. If I'm down 5-4 in the 90th minute, I'll chuck on constant pressure, and they usually press really well. But I wouldn't chuck this on earlier on in the game, especially if you're coming up against a good player, because if it's a good player who can rotate really well, they'll just be able to play around the press and you'll be caught out. There's just more goals you'll kind of cop. And then also on top of that, it drains your stamina a lot, so be very, very careful with the constant pressure. But I think press on possession loss is a great comeback. Sometimes I'll use constant pressure if the guy's not very confident on the ball. And then also on top of that, to come back into the game, I'll usually try and up the depth up to like a 60 or a 70, just to get my team a bit more further forward. So yeah, that's how the custom tactics run for my 4-4-2. And it's pretty similar for the majority of the other formations, and you guys will see that just generally overall. Now, moving onwards, we do have how the formation sets up. I like to have good wing backs who can go forward so they have the overlap. My midfielders are just good players defensively, but very good players going forward as well. You can see I have Zidane and Ali. They played really well this weekend. I think they were great. I ended up subbing out Zidane for Alexandro, and I moved Cancelo into the midfield a lot of the times as well. So you're looking for players that can defend all right, but also very good on the ball, can get into attacking spots and help you create a lot. And then I guess for the wing players, they just need to be fast. And for your strikers, you need guys who are lethal. For me, it's Cantona and Mbappe. They do bits for me up there. And here's where I think the most important parts come is with the instructions. So with the instructions, the way I run it is with a stay back while attacking on the wing backs. I like them just to be in position, and if I need to bring them out, I can bring them out. It's the same thing with the DM/center mids. What you want to do in the situation is go stay back on attacking cover center. If you're one of those players that doesn't make a lot of attacking runs with your midfield, maybe you want to change one of these. Like for example, for me personally, I might try and change Dele Alli to like a balanced attack and get him a bit more forward, a bit more into the attacking player. So yeah, that might be an option. But for me, I make a lot of those runs myself, so I like stay back on attacking cover center on those. And then for the wide players, I just put them on get into the box with the cross. Now what this does for the left mid and right mid is when you're going forward and you're in that final attacking third, they make that diagonal run, and they kind of make that run the overlapping run, so you can just offlay it to them, and they either can sweat it back or they can hit the shot themselves, and provides a lot of goal scoring opportunities. So I like that because they stay pretty wide for the majority of the play, gives you space to build up pretty well, but then when you're in that final third, they get into the box, they are there, and they are actually attacking threat instead of just standing out wide near the corner flag, not really offering you anything. So I think stay against the box with the cross is really important on those. And then finally, for the two strikers, you guys know if you've been on my channel before, I've always run this. One striker is on getting behind. The second one is either on a false line or a target man, so it staggers the strikers. So you have options going forwards. You also have options coming close. The reason why I run target man on Cantona is because I don't really want him dropping as deep as he normally would, because he's more of like a in striker. He's great on the ball, by the way, as well. He's got really good passing, so not really a problem if he is playing as a false line, but I play him as a target man. I think it just works better for him. But for someone like a Dalglish, which was a card I was playing before, maybe you run a false nine. Maybe if you're running like a Neymar at striker, for example, or a Messi, you might want to go false nine that. And what that does is it kind of gives you like that option as like almost a cam roll whilst Mbappe is going in behind. I think that's really important. I definitely put either getting behind a target man or getting behind a false nine definitely on these two strikers. So that's how I run my striker formation and my custom tactics, all the instructions for the 4-4-2. That's my generic formation, but there are some situations in which I would want to change the formation to try and help me seal out a win, or also on top of that, tip the tie in my favor. And so for the first one, we're going to talk about the defensive one, and that's going to be the 4-2-3-1. This is how I hold out my games. What you can see different from the tactics pretty much overall is just this is going from fast build up to balanced. You could even go, if you really wanted to, balanced and possession, or balanced and balanced. Depends how you want to go. I personally like to have those attacking options, but yeah, if you wanted to go balanced and like balanced or balanced in possession, that'll work pretty well. As you guys can see, the width, the depth is all the same. All this does is changing into the 4-2-3-1 just makes it a bit more narrow, a bit more compact. That's kind of the idea behind that. And once again, it's the same with the same players in the same positions. I run Cantona as my cam because I think Mbappe still is my more getting behind player. You got to figure out which player is better suited for you as a cam role. And then also on top of that, for the instructions, you got the same sort of thing. So stay back while attacking on the wing back, stay back while attacking cover center on the CDMs. I personally like to have stay forward and free roam on my central cam because he's an outlet pass, so he's there for the pass, so I can hit on the attack on the counter, and I'm not just like solely defending. And then once again, for these boys, I like to have them on stay forward and against the box across. The against the box across is exactly the same reason as the 4-4-2. They make those final overlapping runs in the final third. But honestly, you could probably go to a balanced or even come back on defense. It just depends on how defensive you want to play this formation. For me, once again, I still want to score goals. Even if I'm up, I just want to have a bit more of a condensed formation. So that way I go to a 4-2-3-1, but I still put my cams on stay forward, and therefore I have those outlet passes and I'm ready to go ahead and attack. And then finally, on the striker, what I have is get in behind, and it's the same as normal. You just want them making those runs, and you can still attack for it. So it's basically like you play with like almost like a back six, and then these boys are kind of like there for the outlet, and you're ready to go on the counter, if you will, for my ultra defensive. So that's how that plays for the 4-2-3-1. Now, there's two other formations we run. The first one I'm going to talk about is actually the 4-3-2-1. This is pretty new for me, and I only added it, I think, about a week and a half ago. But honestly, this is the formation I found myself going to a lot in some very, very close games. Honestly, if you wanted to, you could put into the custom tactics here a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. It's more of a narrow formation, and you could run either one of those. I personally just don't like the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. I don't think it supplies me with enough width. The good thing about the 4-3-2-1 is it's both simultaneously a narrow formation and also a wide formation. So you've got a lot of versatility when it comes to this formation. And I will say the one thing you got to be very careful of, if you're more of a possessive player, I wouldn't recommend this formation too much for you, just because this is a very fast counter-attacking formation, and it's one that I use a lot of times to try and get back into games. So the way I play it, once again, balanced on the defensive style, 50-50, fast build-up, direct passing, 50-7-2-2. That's just how it normally is. As you guys know, that's my tactics. If I'm going a bit more attacking, I'll go onto a press on possession loss. I'll maybe up the depth, and if I really need to, I'll go constant pressure, but I don't particularly love it in most situations. I think press on possession loss is usually the more overpowered one out of all of those. Now, moving upwards, we do have the formation itself. The way I run this is, of course, we have our back four that is still the same. The important thing is that I have a holding DM in the central role. Unfortunately for me, that's just Dele Alli because I don't really have a more defensive guy. My more attacking-minded center mid in my 4-4-2 goes as my right center mid. And then the other side is going to be my final attacker, which is actually Griezmann, and he's going to play in the center mid role. Now, you could switch these two, definitely, and you could put him if you feel like you prefer him on the other side. For me personally, I use strong foot, strong side a lot, so it just makes sense to go ahead and put Griezmann on the left side, because I'll usually use those passes down the line or passes across the cross or the cross-body shots with the Griezmann. That's usually the way I kind of play with it. So, yeah, but if you have, for example, I don't know, like a Garrincha there, or like maybe even like a Weghorst there, you could put him on the right side and that would work perfectly. You just got to figure out which one's your defensive guy, which one's your box-to-box, and which one's your attacking guy. That's kind of the deal. And then finally, with the final three strikers, they just kind of really need to be fast, they need to be clinical. It kind of really plays like a three-striker formation, but these guys kind of drift a bit more wide, and they play also somewhat like wingers. So that's kind of how it all works. Now, moving to the instructions, the way I run it, once again, stay back while attacking on the wing backs. We just kind of want them to stay in position so we're solid defensively. And it's the same thing as well with the central center mid. I have them on stay back while attacking and cover center. Once again, more like an anchor. I think, honestly, like a Kante or a Vieira would be perfect in this position. So good in this position. But I don't have any one of those players, so I use Dele Alli there for this weekend. Now, with your box-to-box guy, I use him on balanced attack and cover center. Still want to use cover center because otherwise they just strip too far wide and your midfield isn't compact enough. But what I would say is, if you wanted to put on a step back attacking, you could. I like the fact that he's able to get forward, and you kind of have almost like 5 players getting forward at the same time. But then when he needs to come back, he'll also come back as well, which is great. And then also on top of that, for this boy, we have balance attack, cover center, but we also have get into the box with a cross, and it just means that he'll also make those attacking runs in the final third and get into good shooting positions. A lot of times I'll have the ball on the wing with Jota. I'll kind of like ball roll or kind of like do something, and then Griezmann's making that overlapping run, and I can just play the ball into him, one more pass into like Cantona and Mbappe, it's a goal. So yeah, I think it's really helpful to have one of the guys on get into the box with cross. Just makes them more attacking in that final third, and gives you guys another attacking option. So yeah, that's the way I normally play. And then for the final 3 strikers, I just have them on getting behind and stay central. Honestly, with stay central, Mbappe and Jota still play pretty wide, but once again, it's a very fast formation. A lot of times I'll receive the ball with Cantona, and Mbappe and Jota are just making those diagonal runs. I can hit a through ball and they're in behind. So yeah, that's the way I quite like it. So you could potentially play, if you wanted to, this guy on like a mixed attack, target man, or false 9, and they'll probably play more like a cam, and then you'll play similar to what like almost like Liverpool with like a Bobby Firmino almost plays, right? With like, you have that false nine sort of player kind of dropping into like a more creative role, and then your wide players are kind of like the more attacking sort of style players. So yeah, that's the way you could do that. But for me personally, I like getting behind. I still feel like Cantona still feels like pretty much like a hold up sort of player that can overload those passes, and because I have Griezmann, I don't really feel like I have any sort of hole in between the midfield and the attack, honestly, because this guy kind of goes into that space. So yeah, it's a pretty good formation overall. It's very counter-attacking. I really like it, and I'd recommend, if you're a fast player and you need a bit more width in your 4-1-2-1-2, try the 4-3-2-1 out. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's really good against like 3-5-2s, because what you have is you have 3 strikers on 3 center backs, but you also still have like defensive numbers and good condensed in the mid. And then also on top of that, I think it's really good as well against the 4-1-2-1-2 narrows. A lot of times that's like my bogey formation, especially since I play a lot of 4-4-2. I'm very susceptible narrow, but once you have your 3 midfielders and they're all staying cover center, it just means you're able to kind of like fight off that 4-1-2-1-2 battles, and then you can go ahead and go on the counter. So yeah, great attacking formation. I really enjoy it. I give it a run, and yeah, that's how it kind of plays overall. And then finally, what I do have is a 3-5-2, and my recommendation for this one is, if you ever come up against a 5-back or a 3-back, kind of usually like switch to this formation. The reason why I say that is just because when you play up against a 5-back or 3-back, basically what they have is they have those wingers that bomb forward. So you kind of just want to match that. So you basically have a 3-5-2 with a diamond to match up to their strikers. You have your midfielders to match up to their midfielders, and you also have your wingers to match up to their wingers. So you're matching formations, and therefore you're not outnumbered or outpositioned. The beautiful thing about a 3-5-2 is you have pretty much 7 players going forward, as well as also 7 players defensively in like transition. So those midfielders go up, your attackers go up, as well as also your wingers. And then also on defense, the wingers come back, and then the DMs also sit as well. So you have basically like a back 5 with a 2 in the mid. And yeah, it works pretty well. Once again, the tactics are exactly the same: balance, fast build up, direct passing. Honestly, if you find yourself building up pretty hard in this formation, like if you can't find the passes, just drop this down to a balance. I play pretty fast out of my back 3, so I don't really find this too much of an issue, but sometimes you'll find that your wingers are just kind of like very high up the pitch. Put that back to balanced, or even maybe slow build up. I'd say balanced probably in this situation, but I quite like fast build up in this situation. And maybe also as well, you might want to go balance or possession if you find it hard to build up in the 3-5-2. But yeah, I don't really have any issues with it, so I go fast build up and direct passing. And then also on top of that, can we not change customs? We do have the team overall. What I would say is that you want one of your good wingbacks, attacking wingbacks, as one of your wingers. The other one you could put as an attacker, but that kind of gives you a bit of balance. You have one guy who's very good going forward and the other guy who's a bit more defensively. Since I have the team is using Cancelo now, I've been putting him left mid. Before I had Kimi there, but then yeah, your other wingback just kind of rotates and goes to a center back spot. If you have someone like a Vieira as well, you could very easily put him to center or center back and move your 2 center backs out and put both of your wingbacks as your wingers. So that's also another option as well. But that's personally the way I play it. The midfielders just need to be good overall box-to-box midfielders, good CDMs. That's kind of the way it works. And then your front 3, your diamond, you got to have players that can tiki-taka combine pretty well, and your 2 strikers got to be quite clinical, and that's how it works for me, and it plays pretty alright. Now, when it comes to instructions, I would say that the most important thing out of all of this is on your wide players, because they're the guys who are going to be working their butts off getting up and down the pitch. Basically what you need for this is you need stay wide, come back on defense, as well as also get into the box across. What this makes sure they do is they stay wide on the pitch, so you're not exposed on the wings, because you only really have one player there. Also on top of that, they come back on defense, so it kind of works as a 5-back when you're defending, and you're getting pressed with a lot of pressure. And then also on top of that, getting to the box across means they make those final attacking run in the final third. You know how it works once again, and they're a bit more involved in the play. So once again, it acts like you've got 7 players almost kind of attacking that. So I think those 3 are really, really important. I really think stay wide is also really important as well on those boys, just because otherwise you can get a bit outnumbered. But it basically means that they stay wide for the majority of the play, and then in the final third, they get into the box for the cross. They make those overlapping runs, and it works pretty well. Once again, you guys would know from here on outwards, my control is just disconnected. That's quite interesting. But yeah, you guys know how it works from here on outwards. Stay back while attacking cover center on the 2 DMs. We have stay forward and free roam on the cam, once again, just as that outlet pass. And for the 2 strikers, I once again have target man on Cantona. You could go with a false 9 here. You could go with again behind because you have a cam here. There's really anything you could do here. I'd recommend definitely one of them on getting behind, because in the 3-5-2, that getting behind play just gets a lot of really good attacking runs because you just have options and passes. But one thing you could also do as well, since you already have these players who are going to stay wide, you could probably put as well on top of that stay central as well if you wanted to do that. You could definitely do that if you wanted to on the 2 strikers. So that's kind of up to you. Find how it works for you. Once again, I run Cantona, so target man makes a lot of sense to me. And yeah, my other guy's Mbappe and he's on getting behind. And that's kind of my custom tactics overall and how it works. So just once again, a brief little recap for those wanting to know where I switch to what in what positions. Once again, if you're in a normal game, if I'm a regular game, I start off in a 4-4-2. If I need to go a bit more defensive, a bit more possessive, a bit more compact, I go to 4-2-3-1. If I'm playing against a narrow or I need to come back into a game and I need to play a bit more direct, I'll go to the 4-3-2-1. And then finally, if I'm playing against a 5-back or a 3-back, I'll usually switch to a 3-5-2. But I don't think this formation actually does too bad against it. You just got to know how the player kind of plays and gauge it off that. But I really like this as attacking formation. This actually is the one that kind of pushed me to the 19-1 this weekend. I think without it, I probably would have finished on a 16. So yeah, big change for us this weekend in the custom tactics, and it really, really helped. And hopefully that helps you out somewhat, and hopefully you guys got a decent understanding. And yeah, if you have any questions, of course, let me know down in the comments below with any sort of customs, what I should do in this specific position. Maybe you want me to explain something a bit more. Let me know. I'm always able to answer your guys' questions. But anyway, boys, that's going to do the custom tactics video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And hopefully you're able to take some tips out of it and find it a little bit helpful. If you did find it helpful, don't forget to hit a big old thumbs up. If you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, Premier League TOTS is right now. It's right here. Best of luck with some of your upgrades. I know we just got some upgrade packs in the past day or so, and I'm hoping to see some pretty good pack pulls from you guys. And let me know down below in the comments below, what have you guys gotten so far from Premier League Team of the Season? I know a lot of you guys would have been playing Foot Champs, but also on top of that, we've got some pretty good upgrade packs as well as some save packs. Let me know if you guys got anything crazy from your pack pulls. But anyway, boys, that's gonna do it for the video for today. Take care, have a good one, much love, and peace.
Whenever your heart is broken.